KB with Nerdophiles. How are you both?
Hello, KB. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
doing
Lovely,
fine.
lovely to meet you too. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I actually found myself shedding a tear at the end. It was so lovely. And especially like when Franklin said, you found your home when you're surrounded by good friends. I was like, that is so true. So for both of you, why is now the perfect time for a Franklin story of this kind? And I can start with you, Craig.
Sure. I think I think it echoes back to 1968 when my dad, introduced Franklin. The times back then were turbulent. Martin Luther King had been assassinated, and Harry Glickman called my dad and wrote him a letter and said, "Hey, I think it's time to put a black character in the comic strip." So now, fast forward to this special, times are kind of the same. We're very divisive at this time. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and there's really not a lot of safe, happy places to go. And for children, everything they see is is loud and boisterous and angry and mean spirited. And we like to take them to the world of Franklin. Franklin's this poor kid. He's moving from inner city. He's had to find a way to meet new kids and blend in. And he goes to the crazy Peanuts neighborhood where you've got a kid in the pumpkin patch and a crazy dog on the doghouse, and he's going to find a way to blend in. And I think that's relatable to all the kids. And I think the timing couldn't be more appropriate. And it's Black History Month. And so we're very excited to release it at this time.
Yeah. And what about for you, Raymond? Why do you think now is the perfect time for everyone, not just kids, because I loved it too, but for everyone to see it?
I mean, I agree a lot with Craig. One of the things we get to see in this special is in the beginning, Franklin's maybe trying a little too hard. He's not really being himself. And then he meets and he's not connecting with people, and he meets Charlie Brown, and Charlie Brown is always himself. He's authentic, for better or for worse. And so I think he helps Franklin let his guard down, and Franklin starts to share real things about himself. And so they start to see what they have in common, and they start to see what is different, but that they can grow and learn from each other. And so I think like when you get to be who you really are, you're going to find the right people to come into your life. And I think that that's a really great thing to show people.
Oh man, I love that. So obviously, to your point, Greg, your dad created an iconic series. Obviously, Peanuts has had a huge following for decades, and it is truly amazing. So how do you hope that this particular Franklin special lands in terms of legacy of the brand and the series?
Well, I think what's fun with these series we've been doing is that we get to explore more of each of the characters, that you don't going to get off the comic strip page, and you might not get from the old specials. And I think this one's unique in a couple ways. Number one, we get to see Charlie Brown has a chance to finally have someone come in the neighborhood that knows nothing about his past. So he's like, I mean, how excited can you get? It's like, who's this kid? He doesn't know anything about I can't kick a football, can't fly a kite, all this sort of stuff. So he's excited about it. And here's Franklin comes to this neighborhood where he knows nobody, and he doesn't know who he's going to fit in with. And just by circumstance, he gets paired up with Charlie Brown. Of all the people you get paired up with, Charlie Brown's probably one you don't want to, but he doesn't know that. So again, that's where we see friendships can bond, even with knowing the basics of who you're meeting with. And I think it's a message that kids can understand. I think it's definitely related for adults when you go in these meetings and you meet people and you don't really know what they're all about. Just reach out and know the basics of them. Ask them, what's your favorite music? What sports do you like? And connect on that level is better than connecting on the, what trophies have you won? What do you do for a living?
It's true. And listen, Raymond, like animation takes an extreme amount of time. I mean, like it's notoriously long to manage. So can you talk a little bit about the intricacies of kind of putting together and directing this special from concept to creation?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to say one of the things that made it easier is I worked with an amazing team called Wild Brain Studios up in Vancouver. All the artists there, everybody there just cared so much about making these as beautiful as they could be. One of the things I loved about these specials was we were given extra time to make them, to refine them. So it was almost the way you make a feature more than a TV show, where you make multiple versions of it, you storyboard multiple versions. There's discussions about it to make the scripts deeper, to make the story richer. And then we had a lot more time to explore the visuals. One of the things that was important to me was that these visuals remind you of what it was like to be a kid, when you could just sort of stare at the light and the shadows going by, and you're not thinking about anything. You have time to watch clouds go by, and so that it would pull you back into that world of childhood. Yeah, a lot of care was put into these by everybody. That was the best part, how much everyone cared about this.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful. You both did a lovely job on this special. And just thank you so much for taking the time to chat with Nerdophiles. I honestly can't wait for everyone to see it today because it is so lovely.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.